In this video, I'm going to be answering one of the most commonly asked questions that I receive, which is, should I trade during news events? And although there's no set in stone answer to that question, I will be sharing how I personally handle news events in my trading. Questions like, do I actually trade during news or right before a news event? If I'm in a trade, do I exit it before the news? And how do I manage my position if I decide to stay in that position while volatility increases because of a major news event? It's currently non-farm payroll Friday, and I'm currently involved in a couple of live trades. So you'll get to watch me apply the rules that I have in real time on these trades. I'm looking forward to sharing all that with you. And if you've had the question of should you or should you not place trades during news events, then go ahead and click that like button for me. Go ahead and subscribe if you're new, and we're going to talk all about it right after the intro and disclaimer. See you in a second. A little later in the video, we're going to take a look at some live trades I'm actually in, and you're going to see me handle news events in real time on real trades. But right now, I want to discuss, should you even be trading during news events? And there's two things we have to think about. One, should you be trading during news events at all? And two, if you are trading during news events, how do you handle that in terms of managing your position and dealing with the risks involved? Firstly, probably 80% of traders that are currently trading with a live account should not be. And I'm not saying that to hurt your feelings if that's the place that you fall into, but if you're currently trading, you don't have a risk management plan. You don't have a strategy that's proven to be profitable and is likely to be profitable in the future that you consistently trade based on. You don't know anything about trading psychology. If you fall under that category, you probably shouldn't be trading during news events, because you probably shouldn't be trading with real money at all until you're actually ready to trade. But let's set that aside and talk about whether or not you should trade during news. Well, the first question you have to ask yourself is, are you comfortable accepting the extra risk that comes along with trading during news? What I mean by that is news events like non-farm payroll and any other major news event that occurs likely adds volatility into the market. When that added volatility comes into the market, you could possibly lose more than you initially intended. Again, I'm speaking to those of you who actually have set stop losses or at least risk parameters in place. And with these news events that add this volatility to the market, what may happen is you may have a set stop loss, but because of that added volatility, the market may blow past that stop loss and you might get something called slipped, which means you lose more than where your stop loss is placed. And God forbid you're trading during a news event with no stop loss at all. Recipe for disaster. So your first question you need to answer is, should I be trading during news? And the way you answer that is, do you currently have risk parameters? And if so, are you comfortable if those risk parameters are slightly broken? Personally, I do accept that extra risk. I have a pretty good broker. Me being slipped, even during news events, is extremely rare. And if it happens, it's for a very small amount of pips. So it's not something that affects me in a great way. So with that being the case, I am completely comfortable trading during news events if I already have a trade on. So let me make that clear. I don't specifically go after trades because news events are about to happen, but if I'm involved in a trade already, then I'm not going to exit that trade before a news event because of the extra volatility. If I'm already involved, I stay involved throughout that news event. That's just my personal preference and something you have to decide for yourself. Now, number two, how should you handle, if you are in a trade, how should you manage that position while in the trade during a news event? There's plenty of ways to do so, but again, in this video, what I want to do is share with you what I like to do if I'm already in a trade. And it's something that actually has the possibility of adding to my profit. So let me explain that before we go take a look at me doing it live, what I like to do. Initially, if you look with me here on the Aussie dollar, this is one of the trades that I was in right before non-farm payroll came out at 8:30 this morning. You'll see that a little later in the video, but we're still involved in this trade. And originally, I had a 1.4 to 1 reward to risk ratio set on this trade, and I had a limit order to take my profit at that level. So I was initially just going to be taken out of the trade at a 1.4. The way I like to handle news events in my trading, as long as I have my stop loss place, which I did at the time, I will delete my target. And this is a lot to do with your own experience and skill. I've been trading for 10 years. I have enough experience and skill to do this, and I almost never lose money while doing it because And if I lose money, it's just because the trade was going to lose money anyway. So what I mean by that is if I have my stop loss where this black line is, and I have my target at a 1.4 right up here at the top of this green box, my worst case scenario with or without the news event is that I get stopped out where my stop loss is, or with a little bit of slippage if the news event occurs and markets go crazy. That is my worst case scenario. What I like to do is remove the target. Let's say the target was at this top black line. I like to just delete the target and let markets ride during news events, because my worst case scenario stays exactly the same. My worst case scenario is still that I just get stopped out of the trade, right? And I lose nearly what I was comfortable with, whether I get slipped a little or not. So with that being the case, this adds to my best case scenario and makes my reward to risk possibilities much more in my favor. By doing this, what I'm able to do is when this news event comes out, I can judge the market every time I get to my original target, which in this case was a 1.4 to 1 reward to risk ratio. Then I move my stop loss to break even to ensure that I don't actually lose money on the trade. And if the news event was powerful enough to continue pushing prices of this asset higher, then I can end up with a much greater reward to risk on this trade and much more profit on this trade. Now, there are rare situations where something like this will occur. We come up, hit what was my original target, and then prices immediately drop and stop me out for break even. That's something I'm willing to deal with for my added possible profit on these types of trades. And this is exactly how I handle news events anytime I'm involved in a trade during the news. So if I'm in a trade at all and I'm in profit at all, then I just delete my target so that I don't actually have a limit order where my target is, and I'm able to manage this position during news, which is something that helped me get about a 3 to 1 reward to risk ratio on the New Zealand dollar when I was only going to get a 1.4 to 1. And instead, I got a 3 to 1 reward to risk ratio doing exactly what I just showed you. And that's how I handle my positions when I'm inside of positions while news events occur. With that being the case, let's take a look at a couple of live trades I had this morning while non-farm payroll was actually being announced. Hey traders, it's Non-Farm Friday, and I actually have 2 live trades open right now. I thought it'd be pretty fun to actually just record myself in these trades as the volatility starts to kick up here in the market, so we can see if I hit some decent targets or get stopped out on these 2 trades. The 2 trades I have on are on the Aussie dollar along with the New Zealand dollar. Both these trades are currently in profit. I have my stop losses in place in case prices go in the opposite direction that I want them to and come down and stop me out. That's completely fine, and I'm prepared for it. And I also want to give you a little bit of a lesson on how I like to manage trades on days where news events come out. We'll talk about that in just a second. It's actually 8:29, so let's take a look how the volatility affects these trades and see if we can get some decent targets out of the Aussie dollar and New Zealand dollar, or if we go all the way down to our stop loss and exit these trades with a loss. There we go, volatility coming through. We get a nice push up at the beginning. Let's see what New Zealand's doing. Oh, almost always followed by the opposite direction, right? And the opposite direction here on the New Zealand dollar. Volatility pushing us around, and we have now hit what would have been my target. Makes me want to move my stop loss to break even, but I'm not going to do that quite yet. What I'm going to do is just wait for prices to get somewhere around, let me change the color of this line, this level. A little bit lower than that, actually. Somewhere around here, which is going to hopefully give me something like a 2 to 1. Yeah, if I can get up to a 2 to 1 here where I was only going to get like a 1.6 or so, then I'll be completely fine with that, and I'll just exit the position. At this point, I am going to move the stop loss up to break even because I do not want to lose money on a trade that I now have more target than I would have originally had anyway. Here, we're already at a 2. I'm going to try to get a 3 to 1 out of the New Zealand dollar here. Things are going to happen really quickly because of the fact that we are dealing with non-farm payroll volatility in the market. I feel like there's a hair hanging off my mustache from my dog. That kind of sucks. Hope it wasn't in the whole video. Anyway, let's see what happens. Push up, push up. I would be okay. Really like a 2. Let's see if we can get a 2 to 1 out of the Aussie dollar here on the New Zealand dollar. We'll just wait it out. And oh my gosh, what bad timing. My Uber Eats breakfast order is now here. That is terrible timing. Can you see that? Like it just showed up in the middle of this. Are you kidding me? Come on, Uber. After chatting it up with my Uber driver for a few minutes, I came back to the charts and I saw that the New Zealand dollar was at about a 2.8 to 1 reward to risk ratio, and I ended up taking off targets right there. So this is how I use news events and high volatility times in the market in order to help me increase my best case scenario and my reward to risk possibilities, while the worst case scenario stays exactly the same. Worst case scenario being I'm just going to be stopped out on that trade. But I also want to introduce you to something which is a brand new live account I created with about $10,000 in it about 9 to 10 days ago. And I did this because I think that this is a more realistic account size for you to watch grow throughout time than my other larger accounts that I have. So what I want to do is create a more realistic journey of growing an account that's more relatable, because in my larger accounts, I'm risking thousands of dollars to make thousands of dollars. And that's not realistic if you're a complete beginner or someone that's struggling in your trading. I've been trading for over a decade now, and it's taken me that long to accumulate the large account sizes that I have. So it's not something that I expect you to have at this moment. So starting a new account like this is going to give me the opportunity to share more realistic results with you. And actually, I'll go over to the MyFX book for this account to show you that on August 23rd, it was down about 2%. Since then, we've grown. We're up. We're not up 11. I think it's up like 9 or 10. We have some running trades that's changing that. But somewhere near 10% in the past 9 days is what we've made on this account so far. Now, to be clear, that's not normal. I'm not like a 10% per week trader or anything like that. 10% in a month is a great return for me. So this has been one of those weeks where my analysis just lined up perfectly and a little bit of luck was involved while trading during these news events like we have today. And the strategy I used in order to place the trades on the New Zealand dollar and Aussie dollar we've been talking about throughout this whole video is a brand new strategy that I've just finished developing and optimizing, and that I will be adding to the TTC Forex University over the weekend. So if you are part of the university, keep an eye out on your email, and I'll be emailing you once I have all those videos uploaded into your members area. If you're not a member of the TTC Forex University, and if you are interested in learning more about it, then it will be in the top link in the description, or you can go to www.ttcfxuniversity.com. Essentially, the university is a full training course taking you from the basics to fully advanced material built around Forex trading, and it's specifically designed to take you from wherever you are to accomplishing your trading goals in the fastest amount of time possible. The university also includes something called the Pro Trader Report. This is going to be an email and a video I do every Monday and send to you that will be telling you the exact trading opportunities I'm looking for in the following week. And along with that, it also comes with email analysis. Email analysis is trades I send you that have entries, stops, and targets of that trade, and these trades are all based on the strategies that you're learning inside of the university. And in my opinion, the most important part of the university is that it is a mentorship program, which means you have priority coaching support. So if you have any questions at all while going through the course about trading or about the course itself, then you can reach out to me personally, and I'll get those questions and any doubts answered for you. And as a final note, the university also comes with a money back guarantee. So if you get inside the course and don't like it for any reason, all you have to do is email us and I'll have my support staff send you a refund ASAP. So if you want to take advantage of that, go ahead and go to www.ttcfxuniversity.com. If not, that's completely fine too. Just make sure you're subscribed here. Make sure you click that notification bell. Make sure to click that like button, comment below if you made it to the end. And also, I'm considering doing a video about FTMO, and maybe even doing the challenge for FTMO. If that's something that you would find interesting, me doing that challenge, and also talking about what I think the best ways to go about trying to start trading for a prop firm are, if that's something you would find interesting, be sure to comment that below. And if that's the case, and there's more than 10 comments below this video on that subject, then I'll do that for my next video. That'll be the subject for it. So comment that below. I'm going to go work out. I hope you have a great weekend. I hope you trade green throughout next week and the rest of your trading career. And I'll talk to you in the next video. See you soon.